when you first expressed some interest or just even a thought of possibly acting, you did not get a great response. How did you decide to pursue it anyway?
This was so private, this desire, this wish. It was like I thought that I would kind of dissipate it if I spoke about it somehow. But when we got our first TV, I started commenting. It was a way of letting my family know. I started saying things like, oh, I could do that. Oh, I could do better than that. And my dad wore it for the first few times. And then he said, son, people like us don't do things like that. And I went to protest and he said, son, I don't want you to talk about it anymore. Now, in retrospect, he was trying to protect me from something that to him seemed beyond impossible. You know? And then that gave me the energy. And of course I had to leave home because I couldn't really go against my dad. And that's when I won the scholarship to the Webber Douglas Academy. When I won the scholarship to the drama school, that was something amazing. There was a kind of a change. I just felt that somehow I was swimming with the tide. I was a working actor. I was working in the theatre, which is the only way you could become an actor at the time. My agent phoned me. I was at a rehearsal. And he said, I want you to go Golden Square to meet Peter Ustinov about a film called Billy Budd. And I knew about the opera. And I said, what part? He said, well, it's for Billy. And I said, well, he must be really scraping the barrel. Billy's a kind of an angel. And he said, they are. They've seen every other young actor in London. So when I went in, I had the confidence that comes with knowing it was impossible I was going to get this part.
Billy Budd, give us a song.
They calls me Hanging Johnny.
Away, boys, away.
If you study the long careers of actors, you get people like Michael Caine who didn't get a break till after he was 30. You got even Cary Grant had a lull in the middle. Jack Nicholson didn't start till after he was 30. So, in retrospect, my lull, the thing that was preparing me for a long career, were those years in exile. And that was the root of all my acting from then on. I was in a new space. I wasn't thinking like I had been thinking in the 60s. When the 60s ended, I ended with it. And there's no real explanation. I was young, I was a leading man. I was a young guy, you understand? And so I was waking up every day with the phone not ringing. So I'm on this huge ego trip, like I'm the face of the 60s, you know, I've had this amazingly beautiful girlfriend. That's ended, my career's ended. I mean, it was the lull, you know. I bought a round the world ticket, first class. I thought that was kind of classy. And I went to Egypt was the first stop. And then the second stop was Bombay. And I didn't like not work. Occasionally I'd do something, some independent. I'd get a couple of weeks' work. I'd get the money for the year. I'd go back to India. So that's how it happened. All the time that was happening, weeks became months, months became years, years passed. The desert went on for so long that I kind of, like a lot of things in life, where you give up, where you let go, then something happens. And that was the telegram, the famous telegram to come back and see Richard Donner about Superman 1 and 2. And I was reassured by the fact that as I appeared as the supervillain, and they did everything they could to make me look hideous. You know, they lit me from below, they put green makeup on me, they gave me these ridiculous costumes, you know. The camera was still my girl, you know what I mean? Like the camera could always find the best of Terence, and all Terence had to do was give the best of himself, you know, to his ceiling at the time. So I've always done that. I've always done that. With Song for Marion, there was several moments towards the end of the movie, the emotions which one always hopes would be there. But so this kind of tenderness and these things were coming up, and I thought, wow, I've become the kind of performer I wanted to be, you know. So it did occur to me that it was a kind of full circle. But I started getting offered, you know, comedy parts, and I thought, oh, always hard to resist the laugh.
It's
You know.
all good.